Resuming debate, the honourable member for Flamborough-Glanbrook.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's always an honour to rise in this House and engage in critical discussions about the policies that affect the everyday lives of Canadians. And today we're presented with a motion that calls for the adoption of the International Civil Aviation Organization standards in Canada's airports for rescue and firefighting regulations. And this potentially could increase fees imposed on passengers and shippers to cover the costs. And while safety is paramount and certainly something that unites all of us, Conservatives believe that this is an issue that deserves more study, and we will be calling upon the Standing Committee on Transport, Infrastructure and Communities, on which I happen to sit, to take that up. Because we must carefully consider and evaluate the consequences of implementing the proposed changes. And the mover of the motion just spoke about the fact that Canadian airports are exceptionally safe, and that's something we all are proud to say. But what is the signal in this motion, in debating this today? Are we saying, are we giving the impression perhaps that is lacking? Because Canada is not out of step with the rest of the world on this. Many countries, including our neighbours to the south, make necessary adjustments to ICAO standards to best suit their own unique circumstances. It's a standard practice that recognizes the need for flexibility while maintaining high safety standards. So then why are we signaling that there are perhaps deficiencies in our safety regulations? Canadian aviation regulations are designed to be robust and thorough, and they're tailored to be specific to the needs of communities and circumstances. In fact, in some areas, like aircraft rescue and firefighting, we even surpass ICAO standards by threefold, demonstrating our commitment to safety and preparedness. It's important to acknowledge that airport emergencies are well managed across Canada through close collaboration with community resource partners. Municipal police, ambulance services, firefighting resources play pivotal roles in emergency response. Airports cannot be expected to staff for every conceivable emergency scenario. So they rely on these mutual aid partners to ensure a comprehensive response. Mr. Speaker, it's worth noting that all of our airports are already working closely with their local fire departments, actively planning, conducting exercises to ensure a swift and effective emergency response. Take Hamilton International Airport, which I'm proud to say is located in my constituency of Flamborough-Glanbrook. It is the fastest growing cargo airport in the country, and plus on top of that it serves over 1 million passengers a year. And it's owned by the City of Hamilton, so naturally there is a strong partnership with the Hamilton Fire Department. This partnership is already in place and exemplifies the importance of a well-coordinated approach to aviation safety. We've heard this from other airports across the country as well. They recognize the significance of a collaborative approach, which is why they've expressed concerns that the proposed regulation and added costs are perhaps unnecessary, and that is why we need to study this further. It's essential to consider that these additional expenses will inevitably be passed on to travelers, and further raising the costs associated with air travel in Canada, which is already expensive on a global scale. In a country where air travel and cargo is already subject to significant fees and taxes, these costs are going to just be one more thing that's added on the backs of Canadians, and that's at a time that we're already dealing with 40-year high inflation. So it's crucial to remember that increasing costs for passengers and shippers doesn't necessarily translate to increased safety. We must be mindful of the impact on Canadians' wallets. Additionally, the regulatory changes proposed in this motion are designed to provide a one-size-fits-all Ottawa knows best approach. However, our vast and diverse Canadian landscape necessitates a more flexible approach to regulation. What works for one airport may not be suitable for another. Flexibility in our regulations is essential to accommodate these variations. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, we must recognize the merits of our existing Canadian aviation regulations and the partnerships we've built with community resources to ensure the safety and well-being of airline passengers. Through the studies that have been conducted, the sound research that has supported it, which demonstrates the effectiveness of our current approach, and proposed changes, while may sound appealing on the surface, risk imposing unnecessary costs and red tape. There's just no clear evidence to suggest that this would result in a safer air travel environment, and that is why we're proposing additional study on this. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.